4 weeks, a dedicated team of 6 divers embarks on a series of missions in the high seas to reclaim 2 World War II shipwrecks from deadly ghost nets. These abandoned nets transform once vibrant marine sanctuaries into hazardous traps. In this video, we shift our focus to the environmental aspects of the mission and the context of this particular area between Sicily and Tunisia, guided by our scientific advisor, our marine conservation expert, and the committed efforts of ghost diving volunteer divers.
We visited 2 wrecks, and what we found was, on the one hand, really an oasis of marine life. It was all there, really extremely nice to see that it's all intact. A lot of fish is all you could expect on such wrecks, but on the other hand, it's fully covered with nets.
Why do so many fishing nets accumulate on shipwrecks? These underwater structures become thriving habitats for diverse marine life, attracting fishermen to these locations. Unfortunately, fishing nets can get caught on the wrecks, and in efforts to free them, fishermen may unintentionally cause further damage by pulling the nets with full engine power. Moreover, ocean currents contribute to the problem by transporting additional lost nets that get snagged on the shipwrecks, building up in layers over the year.
We are removing the nets in order to maintain a healthy marine environment, and Mario wants to identify wrecks. The nets are literally blocking his entrances to wrecks in order to identify them. So it's a win-win from both sides. It's not only marine conservation, but it's also archaeology and historical research. The impact of ghost nets on the environment is very much visible, especially in the area we work here. You can see it with the usual impact, like ghost nets affecting marine life, and then marine life can be entangled animals, but it can also be destroying of habitat, like corals, shipwrecks, that they cannot enter it anymore or even cannot get out anymore.
In this operation, we are referring to a recent study that happened this year. It was published this year. And in this publication, scientists tried to estimate the rate of lost fishing gears just from Tunisian fishermen.
Researchers conducted interviews with 540 fishermen across Tunisia's 10 most important fishing harbours to understand the extent of fishing gear loss. Utilising advanced statistical methods, they estimated a troubling annual loss of 500 trawling nets and 400 encircling nets. These alarming figures, representing only the losses from Tunisian fishermen and not accounting for other countries fishing in the area, highlight the scale of marine pollution directly linked to local fishing practices. This underscores the critical need for our conservation efforts and collaboration with fishermen to reduce these numbers in these heavily impacted areas.
The fishermen don't want to lose their fishing gear, right? Because, well, it means financial damage and stuff. But it happens because they want to get close to the wrecks, and it happens 900 times per year approximately that nets get entangled on those wrecks. And well, they still fish on the wrecks, and they're a big source of plastic litter, microplastic.
However, shipwrecks don't have to be deadly traps for marine life. In fact, when free from these ghost nets, they become thriving oases of biodiversity.
Shipwrecks in general function as artificial reefs. This is because shipwrecks offer a structure where fishes can hide, and well, it's a living space, it's a habitat room. Beginning with small fishes that feed from plankton, for instance, They can hide there, protected and feed protected from bigger predators. So the area directly above the shipwrecks are full of smaller fishes like planktivores that eat plankton. And the upper levels are full of bigger predators like Seriola domerili, greater amberjacks in this region, spotted groupers or common dentex. We saw really endangered species that are on the red list, rated as endangered species, like these spotted groupers.
This area stands out as a nutrient-rich enclave in the Mediterranean, which is generally nutrient-poor. Influenced by a combination of factors including wind patterns, light penetration due to shallow depths, and the mixing of deep and surface waters, these conditions foster an abundance of plankton and algae. As a result, it becomes a biodiversity hotspot and an incredible habitat for marine life ranging from tiny plankton to larger species.
In the eastern part, there's a lot of, high temperatures, a lot of sunlight, which results in high evaporation rates, which leads to great salinity at the surface. Great salinity means high density of water masses. So in the east, water masses are dropping down, right? And surface water has to get there to equalize the downwelling water masses, right? So you have the conditions there at the surface. You have water flowing in the Mediterranean through the Strait of Gibraltar, and in depths you have water flowing out. And this leads to very strong stratification, different layers of water masses without exchange from the bottom to the surface. This is why the Mediterranean is relatively poor in nutrition, and you have rarely you have primary production in the water column, let's say. Primary production means building up phytoplankton with CO2, sunlight, they are doing photosynthesis, and creating a biomass with the help of nutrition. This is the beginning of the food chain from this phytoplankton. In general, in the oceans, you have these nutrition hotspots, which are in upwelling areas. And there are certain ocean conditions that are responsible for this upwelling, that water masses come up from the deep to the surface. And the benthos, the floor of the ocean, is nutrition rich. Every remains of species, all organic matters is accumulating at the bottom, right? And if you have upwelling conditions, these nutrients come to the surface and their primary production is happening. The reason why this is such a hotspot of primary production, well, there are several reasons, and not everything is known so far. But one factor is the wind from the Sahara, which is rich in phosphorus, transporting a lot of nutrition in this area. And the shelf area is relatively shallow, down to approximately 100 meters. And the photic zone, which means the zone in the sea where sunlight is still transmitting, is here very big, down to 100 meters, resulting in the so-called male beds on the ground, which consist of unattached algae, which again is the beginning of the food chain.
The incredible richness and uniqueness of this area, however, also make it highly fragile and susceptible to threats such as climate change, changing water temperatures, pollution, habitat degradation, overfishing, and invasive species.
We see already now, when we are diving, we see the impact we have on remote locations on any given seas. And this is just not what I want to leave to my children, my heirs. So we need to get better.
The fragility of this unique marine environment underscores the urgent need for protection and conservation, a legacy we must prioritize for future generations. United in their deep commitment to safeguarding our oceans, Healthy Seas, Ghost Diving, SDSS and DWS are driven by a vision of a healthier, more thriving marine ecosystem where biodiversity flourishes and natural resources are sustainably managed. By sharing the stories and outcomes of their endeavors, these organizations aim to inspire reflection on the environmental legacy we are creating through our current actions and the profound impact these have on our planet's future.
My motivation for this project and these dives is to be a small part of helping the environment and helping people to be aware of what we found underwater, and hopefully that they can think about it to contribute themselves to be some more responsible for this planet actually.
It's our environment, so we also don't make a mess in our own house. Huh? If we're doing good, the future will tell us, but that is something we don't know yet. But I'm hoping that we are doing it.
We could only change things we know, right? And science is responsible for creating knowledge about the threats that are happening in this area, or maybe in the ocean in general. So I think science is extremely important to inform the public and raise awareness about these problems. We can try to change behavior, right? And this is what I try with my daughters, to inform them that we really have to change our behavior on this planet. Yes. I try to make a difference with a project like this, to try to make a difference, to change to the good, right?